Live there from Seoul. Thank you very much. Let's turn now to Jim Walsh. He's an international security analyst. He visited North Korea last in 2005. He's met with North Korean leaders and North Koreans countless times. Thank you for being here, sir.
Good to be with you, Poppy.
Why is this different than 2010, 2013? Why is it different, and is there really a chance of war?
Well, I think you're right to invoke 2010. That was when they had the island shelling. And back then, the Korean government used similar language, this sort of semi-state of war, to the language they're using today. But I got to tell you, as someone, I worry about escalation on the Korean Peninsula. In the past, I've said we're one dead fisherman away from something spiraling. But in this particular case, it would be really, really odd for North Korea to be especially provocative when the U.S. and South Korea are having military exercises, where essentially have a gun at their heads, and for them to choose this moment to escalate would be strange. So I think they're going to do something, but I don't think it's going to be on the scale of 2010 when you had the island shelling and 4 people died, or when the Cheonan was sunk. But they're very clever at finding ways to be provocative but stay below a line that does not suddenly be the path to war.
There are 28,000 U.S. troops in South Korea right now. We just heard from our Barbara Starr at the Pentagon reporting that those military activities with U.S. troops and South Korean troops have resumed after they stopped for a short time. What do you make of that halt?
Well, I don't know the particulars of why it was halted. This is an exercise that has been planned for quite some time. We have a big exercise every year. Normally there's sort of a theater thing that goes on where we have the exercise and then the North Koreans condemn it and threaten to set us all on fire and attack us and that sort of thing. And then we all go back to where we were before. But we've had this series of things that have happened along the demilitarized zone, maybe connected, maybe unconnected, but having it all happen at once makes people rightfully more nervous.
You seem to be, I think, less concerned about all-out war, Kim Jong-un sort of crossing that line, if you will, than others. But here's the thing. You're talking about such an unpredictable leader, someone who has executed more than 70 of his own officials since 2012, according to South Korea. 15 of them this year alone, someone who has his hands on nuclear weapons. Why should we trust that this time he won't cross that line?
Well, it's never a matter of trust. It's almost more a matter of guessing, because North Korea is the hardest country to figure out in the world. It's the one, we know more about it than we used to, but a lot less than compared to any other country on earth. It's not that I trust them, but I think you do raise, I just don't think they're suicidal. Even Kim, who could be said to be erratic, probably isn't suicidal and would start something when his enemy is right there ready to attack him, at least from the North Korean standpoint. But you mentioned the purges. You know, that means no one's there to raise their hand and say to him, I'm sorry, dear leader, this is a bad idea what you're about to do, because anyone who raises their hand is going to get shot. So that is a permissive situation where bad decisions could be made. So I am skeptical, but I think it is worth watching these next, whatever, 8, 10, 12 hours to see what happens.
All right, Jim Walsh, important perspective. Thank you, sir.